All right, welcome back for another deep dive.
Yeah.
You know the drill, right?
Mm-hmm.
You guys give us a stack of sources.
Yep.
We dig through them.
Right.
And we surface the most fascinating, the most insightful,
Oh, yeah.
the most unbelievable nugget
That's right.
for you. Today we're going to be diving into something truly, truly special.
All right. I'm excited.
Michael Jackson's Off the Wall album.
Ooh, nice.
But we're not just talking about the music. We're going to be exploring the
Okay.
whole story behind it, the whole context.
The story behind the music. I like it.
Yeah, we've got a mix of biographical details,
Okay.
music history, and even some court documents that we're going to be looking at to paint a full picture of this pivotal moment in MJ's career.
This is going to be fascinating because Off the Wall really does mark a turning point for Michael, I think, both in terms of his creative freedom, but also its cultural impact.
Yeah, I totally agree with that.
Yeah.
It's the album where he truly steps out from the shadow of the Jackson 5.
Right.
And begins to kind of define himself
For sure.
as a solo artist.
Definitely.
So to understand just how monumental this album was,
Okay.
we need to rewind a bit, right?
Right.
And look at Michael's early life.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking Gary, Indiana.
Okay, Gary, Indiana.
A town where, I mean, music was practically woven into the fabric of everyday life.
Right.
I mean, you can't get away from it.
For Michael, it went even deeper than that.
Yeah.
I mean, imagine his childhood home as a kind of boot camp for aspiring musicians.
Oh, wow.
You know, his father, Joe Jackson, was incredibly strict, incredibly disciplined.
Yeah.
Dinner was at 4:30 p.m. sharp, and then it was straight to rehearsals in the living room.
Wow.
You know, that level of discipline and dedication, really, from such a young age, it's hard to imagine.
I was going to say, I can't even imagine that kind of pressure
It's a lot.
as a kid.
Yeah.
No wonder Gladys Knight recognized their talent early on.
Oh.
I mean, she essentially hand-delivered the Jackson 5 to Motown.
That's right. She did, and here's where things get a little bit shady.
Okay.
Joe Jackson, eager to get a record deal, signed a 7-year contract with Motown without a lawyer.
Oh, wow.
It was common practice back then, but it really underscores, I think, the exploitative nature of the music industry, especially when it came to young Black artists.
Yeah, that's really eye-opening.
It is.
It makes you think about, like, the power dynamics at play.
Definitely.
And the lack of protection for these young talents.
For sure.
So what was Motown's vision for the Jackson 5? Like, what were they looking for?
I think they were looking for a fresh, marketable act they could control.
Okay.
And the Jackson 5 fit that mold perfectly.
Yeah.
They uprooted the entire family from Gary, Indiana, and moved them to Los Angeles.
Wow.
It was a strategic move on Motown's part.
Okay.
An attempt to establish a stronger presence on the West Coast.
Okay. Yeah.
But it didn't quite pan out as they had hoped.
Really? What went wrong?
Well, in a way, I think it was kind of a cultural clash.
Okay.
The LA session musicians they worked with weren't the same as the legendary Funk Brothers, who were Motown's in-house band back in Detroit.
Yeah.
They were known for that raw, soulful sound.
Yeah.
And they really played a huge role in shaping Motown's signature style.
Totally.
It was difficult to replicate that in LA.
Interesting. So even with all of the success of the Jackson 5, it sounds like there was some creative tension brewing, especially for Michael.
Absolutely. By the time they wrapped up the Destiny tour, Michael was feeling restless.
Yeah.
He even said, quote, "I was starting to think that maybe I should be doing some things on my own. I was getting antsy."
That's so interesting. You can kind of see hints of this growing independence during that tour.
Right.
Think about his solo performance.
Oh, yeah.
Of Don't Stop Till You Get Enough.
Right.
He breaks away from the group's coordinated style. You know, they're all wearing the same thing. He's opting for a completely different look.
Yeah.
Almost like a visual declaration that he wants to be his own artist.
Yeah, for sure.
You know?
It's a really powerful statement, and it really foreshadows that creative leap that he's about to take with Off the Wall.
Yeah.
And of course, you can't talk about this album without mentioning Quincy Jones.
Right, Quincy. He wasn't just a producer on this record. He was like a mentor to Michael, right?
Absolutely. Quincy fostered this very positive, collaborative environment in the studio, which was a stark contrast to, I think, that strict, sometimes harsh atmosphere that Michael was used to with his father.
Yeah.
And this newfound freedom allowed Michael's creativity to truly blossom.
Yeah, and even the way they created Off the Wall was different.
Oh, yeah.
They recorded in fragments, piecing together different parts of songs.
Wow.
Like a musical puzzle.
Really?
I think, wasn't there a story about Michael and Louis Johnson, the bass player, getting inspired by a demo tape while hanging out in a parking lot?
Yeah.
I mean, that's not exactly the image.
Right.
That comes to mind when you think about a polished pop record.
Not at all, but that story really captures, I think, the spontaneous energy that went into making Off the Wall.
Yeah.
And it resulted in an album that was so diverse.
Yeah.
In its sound. You had disco, funk, ballads.
Yeah.
It showcased Michael's incredible vocal range and his songwriting.
Yeah, for sure.
Talent.
I love that. And speaking of the music,
yeah,
what is your favorite track on Off the Wall?
Oh, good question.
Mine has to be She's Out of My Life.
Yeah.
I mean, it's such a beautifully written and emotionally powerful ballad.
Yeah.
It gets me every time.
She's Out of My Life is definitely a classic. For me, it's Rock With You.
Oh, nice.
The groove, the melody, it's pure magic.
Yeah.
But, you know, regardless of what our favorites are, I think the album's success, both commercially and critically, proved that Michael could stand on his own as a solo artist.
Absolutely.
And it really sets the stage for Thriller.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's amazing to think about how Off the Wall was not only a hit album, but also a cultural phenomenon, right?
Mm-hmm.
But this was also the dawn of MTV, and let's face it, Black artists weren't exactly getting a lot of airtime back then.
That's a crucial point.
Yeah.
Off the Wall's music videos were game changers. They were so visually captivating and innovative.
Yeah.
And they helped break down these racial barriers that existed in the music industry.
It's wild to think about how groundbreaking those videos were at the time.
Yeah.
I was glued to MTV back then, but it's hard to, grasp how revolutionary it was to see a Black artist like Michael dominating the airwaves.
For sure. Those videos added this whole other dimension to the music. They made it accessible, more appealing to a much wider audience.
Yeah, for sure.
And they paved the way for other Black artists to gain recognition on this global scale.
Absolutely. But I'm curious, what else do you think contributed to Off the Wall's impact on breaking down those racial barriers?
Yeah, that's a great question.
Yeah.
I think it's partly due to Michael's undeniable talent and charisma, but also the fact that Off the Wall had this crossover appeal.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't just a Black album. It transcended genres and demographics.
Yeah.
It appealed to people of all backgrounds, and that was really rare for a Black artist at the time.
For sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it wasn't just about the music. It was about breaking down societal barriers and changing perception.
Exactly. Yeah, I totally agree with that.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. You know, it's incredible to think that even after achieving massive success with Off the Wall, Michael's drive to create only intensified.
Oh, yeah.
He was already laying the groundwork for Thriller while still touring with his brothers for their Triumph album.
It's like he was operating on a whole other level of ambition and creative energy.
Right.
I mean, most artists would be taking a well-deserved break after a hit album.
Right.
But not Michael.
No, Michael.
Who was constantly pushing boundaries, always striving to innovate and evolve his sound.
And that dedication really shines through in the stories from the Thriller recording sessions.
Oh, yeah.
Like, for example, when Quincy Jones was working on the track Wanna Be Startin' Something, he assembled this group of top-notch musicians just to create the hand claps for the song.
Wait, so Quincy Jones himself was clapping along with the band?
He was, and there's this hilarious anecdote about Quincy messing up a clap and accidentally hitting his Rolex watch on the floor.
Oh, my God.
And the other musicians couldn't resist teasing him, saying he was out because he couldn't keep up with the rhythm.
Oh, my God. Can you imagine the legendary Quincy Jones getting playfully roasted for his hand clapping skills?
I know.
That's such a great story.
Yeah.
It sounds like they had a lot of fun.
They did, yeah.
In the studio.
Mm-hmm.
Even with the immense pressure of following up a huge success like Off the Wall.
Yeah.
But speaking of pressure, Thriller went on to become the best-selling album of all time.
It did. I
mean, that must have created an almost impossible standard.
It's true.
For Michael to live up to.
Absolutely. And you really see that pressure reflected in the making of his next album. Dad, Frank DeLeo, who was Michael's manager at the time, was pushing for a really commercially safe follow-up. Even suggesting that they just use the title Thriller again. thinking it would guarantee another smash hit.
Wow, what a lack of imagination.
I know, right?
Wow, that's a lot to put on someone's shoulders.
Yeah.
But Michael, being the perfectionist he was, didn't want to just repeat himself.
Right.
He was determined to prove that he could continue to grow and innovate as an artist.
Yeah. He really started to take a more active role in every aspect of the music-making process, from songwriting to production. Yeah. He even had this state-of-the-art studio built at his Neverland Ranch.
Right.
So he could work whenever inspiration struck.
Oh, wow.
You know? This desire for creative control became like a defining characteristic of his career.
For sure, for sure. And it wasn't always smooth sailing for him.
No, definitely not.
You know, think about the constant scrutiny surrounding his changing appearance.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it must have been incredibly difficult to deal with those rumors.
Yeah.
And the intense public speculation.
Right.
Especially, you know, when a lot of it stems from a lack of understanding.
Yeah, exactly.
About his condition, vitiligo.
It's impossible to know the full extent of his personal struggles.
Right.
But it's clear that he was grappling with both internal demons and external pressures. Yeah. And sadly, the media often exploited his vulnerability. Yeah. Sensationalizing his every move.
Yeah, it's a stark reminder of how fame and fortune can be a double-edged sword.
Definitely.
You know? But even with all of that going on, Michael's creative output never wavered.
That's true.
He releases Dangerous in 1991, which was another massive commercial success.
It was, and Dangerous is a fascinating album.
Yeah.
It's even more experimental than Bad. Blend in elements of pop, rock, funk, and even industrial music.
Wow.
You can hear influences from artists like Sly and the Family Stone, Prince, and even Teddy Riley.
Oh, wow.
Who was a pioneer of the New Jack Swing sound. Wow. You know, that was that genre that fused hip-hop rhythms with these smoother R&B melodies.
Totally.
And Michael definitely incorporated that energy.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah.
And let's not forget those iconic music videos.
Oh, yeah, the music videos.
Remember, the time was practically a mini-movie set in ancient Egypt.
Right.
And Black or White featured those groundbreaking morphing effects that blew everyone's minds back then.
Oh, yeah.
It seems like with every album, Michael was pushing the boundaries of what was possible in music videos.
He was a true visionary, not just in music, but also in visual storytelling.
Absolutely.
He understood the power of, like, merging those two art forms to create this truly immersive experience for his fans.
But as we've seen, his personal life was becoming increasingly complicated.
Right.
In 1993, he was accused of child sexual abuse, which cast this very dark shadow over his career.
It's a difficult topic to discuss, but it's important to acknowledge the impact that those allegations had on Michael's life and the legacy. I mean, the media frenzy surrounding the case was relentless. Yeah. And even though he wasn't charged with any crimes, the damage was done.
Yeah, it's a tragic example.
It is.
Of how public perception can be so powerful.
Yeah.
And how a reputation can be tarnished, even without concrete evidence.
Exactly.
You know, despite all of this, Michael continued to make music.
Right.
He releases History in 1995, which was a double album.
Yeah.
Featuring a disc of his greatest hits.
Yeah.
And a disc of new material.
Right. And History is a really complex and often overlooked album.
Yeah.
It reflects the turmoil that he was experiencing at the time.
Okay.
With songs that address these themes of betrayal, isolation, social injustice.
Right.
But it also contains these moments of hope and resilience.
Yeah.
Showcasing his enduring love for music.
Right.
And his desire to connect with his fans on a deeper level.
Yeah. It's fascinating to see how his music kind of served as a reflection of the ups and downs in his life.
Yeah.
He was clearly grappling with a lot, both personally and professionally. Do you think he ever truly found peace?
Oh, that's
amidst all of that chaos?
It's a really difficult question to answer. You know, he continued to face challenges throughout his life, both from within and from the outside world.
Right.
But what's undeniable is that he never stopped creating.
Yeah.
And his music remains this really powerful testament to his extraordinary talent, his boundless vision, and his enduring impact on popular culture.
This deep dive has been quite a journey so far.
It has, yeah.
We've traveled from Michael's childhood in Gary, Indiana, to his meteoric rise, to superstardom and the controversies that followed.
Right.
You know, we've seen his incredible evolution as a musician, his relentless pursuit of creative control, and the profound impact he had on music, dance, and video.
And we've seen how his life, both personal and professional, was this complex and often contradictory tapestry. He was this brilliant artist who achieved unparalleled success.
But he also struggled with personal demons.
Right.
And faced this intense public scrutiny.
Yeah, I think what stands out to me the most is his unwavering dedication to his art.
Totally.
Even in the face of adversity, he never stopped creating.
That's true.
And his music continues to inspire and entertain people all over the world.
Yeah, that's a powerful observation.
Yeah.
His legacy is multifaceted and complex, but his talent is undeniable.
Okay, well, we still have Michael's later years to explore, including his final album, Invincible, and his planned comeback tour. This is it.
Yeah.
It sounds like we've got another fascinating chapter ahead of us.
Yeah, we do.
Okay, so we talked about Off the Wall, Thriller, Bad, Dangerous, and History. That's a lot of music.
Yeah.
It seems like Michael was just unstoppable for decades.
Yeah. What can you tell us about his final studio album, Invincible?
So, Invincible was released in 2001.
Okay.
And it was a bit of a departure for Michael.
Okay.
It incorporated more modern sounds and production techniques.
Okay.
While still retaining some of those classic Jackson elements.
Yeah, I remember when it came out, tracks like You Rock My World and Butterflies really stood out.
Yeah.
But there was also a lot of drama surrounding the album's release, right?
There was quite a bit of controversy.
Yeah.
Michael was publicly feuding with Sony Music at the time, claiming that they weren't properly promoting the album and were even trying to sabotage his career.
It sounds like the music industry could be a ruthless place.
Yeah.
Even for someone as legendary as the King of Pop.
It certainly had its challenges.
Yeah.
But despite the drama, Michael's fans were still incredibly loyal and eager for more.
And they got their wish in 2009 when he announced his This Is It comeback tour.
Oh, yeah.
A series of concerts scheduled to take place in London.
Right.
I mean, it was supposed to be a massive event. His first major tour in over a decade.
It was a really big deal.
Yeah.
Tickets sold out almost instantly.
Wow.
And there was this palpable sense of excitement and anticipation building around the world. Yeah. People were so ready to see Michael back on stage doing what he did best.
There's even footage of those rehearsals.
Right.
And you can see like how intensely Michael was preparing for their shows.
Yeah, he was pushing himself. Yeah. And his dancers to the limit, determined to deliver something truly spectacular for his fans.
He was involved in every detail.
Oh, yeah.
From the choreography
to the costumes
to the stage design.
I mean, there are even stories about him working with designers to create custom-made boots.
Wow.
With special hinges so that he could lean forward at this almost impossible angle.
That's incredible. It's a testament to his dedication.
Yeah.
And his constant desire to innovate.
I know.
Even at that stage in his career.
Right. It really speaks to his relentless pursuit of perfection and his commitment to pushing those creative boundaries.
But tragically, as we all know, those concerts never happened.
Yeah. On June 25, 2009, Michael died from cardiac arrest, which was caused by a combination of drugs, including propofol, which is a powerful anesthetic.
Yeah.
His personal physician, Conrad Murray, was later convicted of involuntary manslaughter for administering the fatal dose.
It was such a shocking and incredibly sad end.
It was.
To a life that was filled with both extraordinary triumphs and heartbreaking struggles.
Michael's death sent shockwaves around the world.
For sure.
Millions of people mourned the loss of a true icon, a musical genius, a cultural phenomenon, a man who had touched countless lives.
Through his music and his artistry.
His impact on music is undeniable, but it goes far beyond that. He influenced fashion, dance, video in ways that are still felt today.
Yeah.
I mean, he was a true pioneer.
He was.
Who broke down barriers and redefined what it meant to be a global superstar.
He challenged the norms, he pushed creative boundaries, and he inspired generations of artists across a variety of disciplines.
For sure.
And his legacy is complex and multifaceted, but there's no denying that profound and lasting impact he had on popular culture.
And his music continues to resonate.
It does.
With people of all ages and backgrounds.
For sure.
It's a testament to his enduring talent.
Right.
And his ability to connect with us. On a deep emotional level.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into Michael Jackson's Off the Wall and that remarkable journey that followed, I think we're left with this profound appreciation.
For his artistry, his innovation, and this really enduring legacy. You know, his life was this whirlwind of incredible highs and devastating lows.
For sure.
But his music remains a powerful testament to his genius and his ability to move and inspire people worldwide.
It's fascinating how Off the Wall served as like a launch pad for everything that came after.
Yeah, it really did.
You know, it marked his transition to creative control, his work through collaboration with Quincy Jones. And the beginning of his journey to becoming one of the most influential artists of all time.
Yeah, for sure. And as you reflect on everything we've discussed today, I want you to consider this.
Okay.
How do you think Michael's story, with all of its complexities and contradictions, shapes the way we listen to and understand Off the Wall today? You know, it's a question worth pondering.
For sure.
As his life and music are so inextricably intertwined, they continue to fascinate and provoke conversations.
Absolutely.
Even today. And that, I think, that enduring impact is perhaps the most powerful legacy of all.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, on that note, thank you so much for joining us for another deep dive.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
We'll catch you next time.